Good evening, everybody. What Culture Wrestling's Adam Cleary and indeed What Culture Wrestling's Adam Nicholas here for you on this momentous evening for professional wrestling as NXT and AEW go head to head. We are, of course, as you can tell by our colours, completely on the fence on this one. But before we get started, we must bring you a hashtag. Not good after news because it's like the middle of the night now. So the hashtag. It's the Sean Connery special. It's the news at 10-ish. That joke might make some sense to you. Anyway, numerous stories coming up for you tonight, including Bong.
Triple H gives his thoughts on CM Punk potentially returning to WWE. Bong.
AEW have announced a revised UK broadcast schedule, and it's considerably better than the last one. Bong.
Chris Jericho could be set for a huge matchup at Wrestle Kingdom 14. Bong.
But first, if you wanted a dime for every time CM Punk has officially confirmed that he's coming back to WWE, you would have 0 dimes. However, there is still some good news about this because he has unveiled in an interview that he has done for Collider, of all people, that he was definitely in the room with Renee Young and Booker T as part of the FS1 WWE analysis show, and all indications look, while it hasn't been confirmed yet, all indications look like he is going to be a part of that broadcast. Punk revealed that his agent had been approached by Fox to see whether the multiple-time world champion had any interest in doing the WWE Backstage show. He has done the trial, he has done the run-through. Apparently it all went very, very well. He gets on well with Renee Young, he gets on well with Booker T, and he has said that he is at least interested in doing it. He certainly knew a lot about the program, precisely how it would work, how it's going to tie in with Fox's desire to present WWE as a real sport, how it's similar to his CFFC mixed martial arts program.
Indeed.
I've never seen that, but Gary does the punditry on it.
Punditry, yes. He's very good. As you know, CM Punk is one of the best in the world.
These kind of things, yes. He did say, and this is kind of an admission on his part, I thought was quite good. He said, don't worry, I'm not just going to dump on anything for the sake of dumping on it. That's the old Phil, which I thought was a bit of a...
I like that.
It's a nice little admission, that. But he said also at the same time, if they want him on that show, they have to realise that he will be honest about what he sees. He won't simply say something's good if it's not good. So, just to give you the bottom line on this, CM Punk has not yet officially signed with Fox to be on the WWE Backstage show, but he has at least done the trial run for it. He has at least had the audition, you might say, and all indications look like he is going to do that. Now, one thing I do want to clarify right here, despite what you may read in other headlines or how people will package this, this is not a WWE broadcast. This is something Fox are doing independently of WWE to try and add get a bit more mileage out of SmackDown, to try and do the kind of thing they would do for NFL and NHL broadcasts, where they would just have a separate program running through what happened, talking about the major discussion points. So this is good. It sort of pushes him back towards the company, gets him involved in the company, gets him working with people in the company, but not for the company.
He's not in the company, and someone who was very keen to reiterate that exact sentiment was one Mr. Triple H.
Well, the thing about Punk is we're not actually
I don't even need to do the quote because that's pretty much exactly.
I need to stop the impressions, don't I?
But Sports Illustrated did a podcast with Triple H, and he gave his thoughts, obviously because it was a big question they all wanted to know about on CM Punk, and this is what he had to say on the matter, almost like we planned this. I've read all about that as well. To be clear, Fox is doing this show, and it's their show, and it's something they are doing to talk about the WWE Universe and everything that's going on in it. They have a long list of people they have been interviewing. As far as for us, one of the things this company has shown is never say never. If the opportunity is right for everybody and it's right for our fans, then we are willing to put the past behind us and move forward. I would never say never, but that's also probably a long way from coming true. But I can't wait to bury him. Oh, sorry, wrong thing. He said that's a little bit outside my purview.
Wait a minute. I said the loud part quiet, the quiet part loud.
I said it. My brain got it all wrong. But yes, Triple H seems to believe that potentially that door could be.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right, WWE have a long and storied track record of people you think will never, ever, ever work for the company again. Bret Hart never looked like he would go back. He went back. He literally worked with Vince in a WrestleMania match. That's how easily they buried that hatchet. Warrior looked like being persona non grata for years and years and years. Got inducted into the Hall of Fame, had a very, very emotional moment not long before his death. So there is never any closed doors. And Goldberg, for Christ's sake, all that talk about Goldberg was never going to go back.
Literally just this bloody Hulk Hogan was back on WWE TV, back at WrestleMania. All is forgiven. Wink, wink. And on top of that, who else was involved?
I was just going to say Hulk Hogan's never say never. Hulk Hogan's never say something else.
Brother.
They're going to say brother or something like that. Yeah, I should point out as well, they did ask Punk on his podcast appearance that are you thinking about getting in the ring? And he also said never say never, but he did also say he currently has no plans to step back into a wrestling ring. Now, I would like to caveat that with a bit of, if I was CM Punk and I did have plans to step back into a wrestling ring, I would categorically say that I did not have plans to step back into a wrestling ring.
Reading between the lines, I think it's safe to say that CM Punk's going to be wrestling again in WWE like next week. So get yourself excited.
Friday.
Super great.
Tonight.
For it. Incredible stuff.
This is incredible stuff though, because we all want Punk to come back. We've all said this, that and the other. And to get him involved with WWE in an almost talking smack capacity. I know this isn't officially involved with WWE, but they're gonna have other wrestlers on that program where there's discussion points. There's gonna be interview subjects. He is gonna be interacting with other talent on this. It seems to me it's an avenue you would not go down if you had no interest in wrestling again.
Of course it's not, and it's a little way back, isn't it? He says also that he loves Renee Young, so that's a big deal.
Who doesn't love Renee Young?
Well, exactly, and who wouldn't want to work with Renee Young? And also, Booker T's going to be there too, so that'll be good.
And speaking of loving Renee Young, do you know who else loves Renee Young?
Lashley?
No, the entire population of the United Kingdom. And they've had some news today regarding how they can view AEW going forward. Now, you will remember, slight problem arose because Tony Khan came out and he said, Tony Khan, the sugar man, not only will our package for the UK be better than what WWE's got, it's all going to be announced in good time and this, that and the other. Then they announced it. It was not better than what WWE were offering. It was genuinely really quite bad. It was a condensed highlight show some 4 or 5 days after it was going out. It was not what people in the UK wanted at all. And despite the fact that ITV4 does come free with most freeview boxes, the fact that that offsets the cost of the network effectively, or the cost of trying to get NXT and whatnot in the UK and all the Sky subscriptions, it was a massive letdown and not what was promised. So you can tell some frantic renegotiations have been going on between AEW and ITV, and it was announced this evening that they are changing what they're doing. ITV announced that the full 2-hour Dynamite show will be available for viewing on the ITV Hub from 7 p.m. Thursdays starting tomorrow. Now that is still quite a lot of time after the live broadcast. I would imagine if you're trying to avoid spoilers rather, you're probably going to be out of luck there, but by the by, Dynamite will then air at 11:20 p.m. on Friday on ITV4, and then there'll be a Sunday morning time slot where you can watch it in the morning, you'd imagine, with any gore or any violence taken out like SmackDown used to do. And then the Monday night 1-hour highlight show is still staying there. So that is a lot of wrestling. That's going to be the full thing on Thursday, the full thing again on Friday, live on demand from Thursday, the full thing on telly on Friday, a Saturday morning slot, and a Monday highlights package. It's not terrible, that, but look, if you're watching this in the USA and you don't really know too much about ITV, while they're live, while AEW is going to be broadcasting live, ITV have 4 channels. Now, ITV1 will probably have Coronation Street repeats on or something like that. Basically, it's one of their A shows will be getting a repeat at that hour for people who, I don't know, drive trucks and murder prostitutes for a living. ITV2 will have some kind of weird game show where you have to call in and navigate the castle, dear traveller. And ITV3 and 4 are just off. So, to be honest, I'm not a programming director. I've never worked at a channel like ITV in any major position of power. But
solid start.
But I would say they can show that if they really want to. If they really wanted to.
Really want to.
Which I think, reading between the lines, tell you that ITV may have already gone a little bit cold on AEW.
A little bit rogue.
A little bit, yeah.
Maybe, look, they probably haven't grasped yet. I mean, a lot of people still haven't grasped yet. The wrestling is a big deal. People can get a lot of money out of wrestling. It's a booming business. Tonight is proof of that. And yet, we still have that little divide between people taking it actually seriously as a proper product. I
think ITV have gone really hard in on this because obviously ITV, if you're not aware, again, if you're watching this in the US, ITV pumped quite a lot of money into doing their own Saturday afternoon wrestling slot, bringing the famous world of sport back to try and reignite that British crowd. Obviously, what happened with NXT UK, they did partly. Well, they killed that, to be perfectly honest. And now AEW's coming back. They've got relationships with Tony Khan, because obviously they do a lot of business in the UK anyway. They thought we'll go all in on that. No pun intended, and that could be that wrestling slot we wanted to fill. But I just think perhaps since those initial negotiations, the hype has died down. They don't want to commit to a regular weekly live slot. Once it's on demand, well, that's not costing them anything to do, is it? Then the broadcast slots are kind of all over the place. They'll not be missed if indeed they do change. So it remains to be seen. I think that might change going forward. I think if it's a massive success, they'll start putting it on live. But in the here and now, 7 p.m. Thursdays, you can watch it on demand on ITV.
someone you will be able to see on All Elite Wrestling's programming is Mr. Chris Jericho. And I think
Good link.
a man who
Good link.
made a very, very, very strong statement when he first signed with them to basically say that his contract was very much open wide and could see him go to other promotions and perform there as and when he fancied. Well, it seems like that could be the case coming up towards Wrestle Kingdom 14. Now, Chris Jericho has obviously done a lot in New Japan Pro Wrestling before this, but he apparently is set for a rather big and tasty match on January 4th next year, the first night of the 2-day extravaganza that is going to be Wrestle Kingdom. Apparently, Chris Jericho will be facing off, and this is coming from Sports Illustrated, who broke this, against Hiroshi Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom 14. Now, the little seed was planted at the match where Jericho had against Okada at Dominion, because after the match, he was beating down Okada and Tanahashi came to the aid of Chris Jericho. There was a little tease, the fans kind of spotted it, and it seems that it could be set to pull the trigger on that match. Now, obviously, with that announcement, you see, there's a number of big matches that are already happening on that card, one of which is going to be the co-main event, potentially alongside this match, will be Kazuchika Okada versus Kota Ibushi for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. A lot to take in there, but as far as being a smart businessman, Chris Jericho's got to be right up there at the top. If he's going to get to go to AEW, do his work there, but then go to New Japan, hit the Tokyo Dome, and have a match again at Wrestle Kingdom 14. I mean, it's fantastic.
It's unprecedented. Like, we saw him at WrestleMania when he wrestled Owens, and we all thought it was going to be the Universal title match, and ended up getting pushed right down the cards for the United States Championship. It was early on. It was the death slot second after the big opening. There was all that stuff backstage about Owens was displeased with it, McMahon was displeased with it, and we just thought, you know what, Jericho, that was it. The list was a great thing. The rivalry with Owens was a great thing, but that's probably it now. You fail to see where the reinvention comes from after that, and here we are. Not even 3 years later, talking about how they've absolutely knocked that out of the park. First ever AEW World Champion, made a career for himself in New Japan. He's had now critically acclaimed matches with Okada and with Omega, and it's just been, you just hold your hands up to him. The man will be reinventing himself in wrestling until he is
a robot.
Dead. Yeah, or a robot. Or a dead robot. A dead robot. Speaking of a dead robot, that's how I feel right now. So we're going to wrap it up right there, because we have to get all of this space set up for our live stream tonight. If you're not already planning on joining us, then like you've got anything better to do. We'll be watching NXT and AEW at
simultaneously.
Yeah, it'll kind of be like Soccer Saturday, except Wrestling Wednesday, I guess. We don't quite know how it's going to work yet, but it's going to be a glorious mess, and we invite you to join us for it, starting at 12:30. Yes, let's say 12:30. We'll put it in.
5:30 Pacific time or 7:30 Central time.
It is quite specific, you're right. Yes, we'll put it all in the description below so you can join us there. But in the meantime, of course, let us know what you made of all of this in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe to What Culture and the pair of us, Adam Nicholas and myself. Where can they get you, by the way, on Twitter?
Get me on Twitter it's Adam Nicholas, and then get him on Twitter
at Adam Cleary, CLERY, the whole What Culture family available to you at What Culture WWE. And we will see you tonight, and if we don't, we will see you not tomorrow, because we get to stay in bed for doing the live stream, but we will see you Friday, I imagine. Thank you for watching. We will see you soon.
Enjoy the greatest night in pro wrestling history.